Welcome to the Connect Club, collectively cultivating creativity through conversation. Welcome to the Connect Club. Chilling with Njawulu, talent, behind the cameras.
Ghost man, yeah, I'm the ghost man. Yeah,
yeah, my name is Wanu, so yeah, this is the Connect Club, man, and just gonna be talking about shit that happened this week, starting with the taxi strike. We're talking about it right now. But yeah, we're still sorting out the camera stuff, but yeah, what are y'all's takes, man?
Yeah, it's the things, man. So what's the key? What's happening?
What's going on, dog? So, just to put some context behind the situation, there's been like a whole debacle between the city of Cape Town and taxi operators. I'm reading this off the Daily Maverick. So it says tensions between the city of Cape Town and taxi operators have been simmering over a new bylaw that gives power to the municipality to impound other vehicles rather than fining drivers for offences such as not displaying registration plates, being unlicensed, overloading, and failure to stop when instructed to do so by an officer of the law. So that means that if I'm understanding it correctly, it means that if a taxi driver commits an offence, then that's what's going to happen to them. They're going to have their
just check
vehicles
their taxes.
Damn, which is what?
Like they just check their taxes and that's it. Oh,
damn, really? Hasn't that always happened though?
It's like pounding. Yeah, pounding. So whenever you commit a certain crime in the road, then obviously they take your taxi.
Yeah.
And I think they've been about 6,000 now. I'm not sure, but when I heard in the news, there were like 6,000 taxis impounded.
Yeah, they've taken already.
Yeah.
But I feel like the municipal also when making these kind of decisions, I feel like you need to first talk with the taxi guys, talk with the taxi owners. These are such big decisions which, when they are announced, they are obviously going to change the whole atmosphere of the country. So I think it's also on their own side taking these kind of decisions and start causing a problem. Because at the end of the day, now that there's a strike, they now end up compromising some of these rules because the strike has to end. Somebody was telling me that he was delayed, his flight in the airport was delayed by an hour because of this kind of an issue, because of traffic. 80% of the passengers didn't show up in time. So the flight has to be delayed for an hour. So those kind of issues are not going to work. They're causing distraction and people are not going to able to go to work because of this. So at the end of the day, the municipal is going to end up having to come back and compromise with the people. Why not first, before they making the decision, they first sit down with the people, rather than having to wait for a strike so that they can sit and talk to them?
Yeah, but I also feel like they just make decisions on their own, right?
I know, there's a man behind it. Wow. There's a man behind it. I think they said when I heard like 7,000, if the tax is impounded for the first time, you pay 7,000 to take it back. And if it's for the second time, it increases maybe 12 or 14,000. So they're already making money behind this thing, right?
Yeah. My question is okay, it happens, man. What are we saying about it? You know what I mean? Because it's not like they're telling us. It's not like they asked us first. It's okay. We have a set of circumstances. Obviously, when you have a situation, you need to mitigate risk somehow. Right? So they're trying to. I understand what they're trying to do. Okay, taxi drivers are a problem, and they say they've been a problem forever.
Yeah.
Taxi drivers, they have a reputation of causing accidents, all this type of things.
Sure.
They are, sometimes they're irresponsible drivers. No?
Yeah.
That's a problem in itself. But one problem doesn't have one solution. There's so many other things they could have tried to do. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just I don't know, man. I feel like there's not enough thoughts about
like a knee-jerk response.
Yeah.
Sort of like a knee-jerk response.
Exactly. It's appealing to the average person. Like, okay, every person will be like, yeah, no, it's fine. But then a person who goes to work every day with a taxi. What about pregnant?
The average person is taking a taxi to work. Let's be honest. Most South Africans are using taxis to go to work.
Yeah. So what are they going to think? Cause now, bruh.
I think I don't think people are behind it just because. If I see the problem, but if I'm not going to work, then I'm like, okay, flip, I need something. Because they're already trying to give out fines. I think the city gives like over 200,000 fines a month. Okay, that's not just taxis, but everyone.
Yeah.
They just saw that it's not working with the taxis. People, even at home, I know people, they don't pay their fines. That's just the fact of the matter. You give somebody a 500 rand fine, they're like, okay, I'll pay it. I won't. you just say you will and you move on with your life. What are you going to do?
And also, bro, I wanted to ask you on that.
Yeah.
Don't you guys think the taxi system, the system of, transporting, that whole system, the logistics behind it, don't you think it's outdated, guys? With trains, super trains are being built in China. I know for South Africa it's like a difficult thing to think about, but look how many problems it would solve just in our communities, bro. Think about how many jobs it could possibly create. Because if you create a terminus and then you have traders who trade there, and then that becomes an economy in itself, you see.
Like how trains will help.
Like
using trains instead of
using trains instead of the taxis, bro.
I think that can lead to a lot of problems, because many people are going to lose job actually when I think about it, more than gaining, because how many taxis are there, how many drivers are there?
Like a train only operated by one person, so
it's only operated by one person. As much as it might help the economy, but then what about those taxi guys? What are they going to do to their taxis?
I think for me, the law that they can impose is that if like they give you fines, right? So let me say they fine you for, maybe they give you like an excess number of fines. If they say maybe if we fine you 5 times as a taxi driver and you are not able to pay those fines, then we take the tax or impound the tax, right? I think that way it could work. Just in the middle of the road, maybe I'm overtaking in a wrong road or in the wrong spot, then you take my taxi from there, obviously it's gonna cause some problems, and also they've been sitting down and letting this thing happen, like the taxi drivers, because about 6,000, which means per month now, per year is gonna be 12,000, just imagine. So
Yes.
so I think that's the law that they could impose, that it could
So
work.
instead of taking that taxi, they just pay fine.
Yeah, like just have the maximum number of fines that you could give to a taxi, and if they don't, that's when now you impound the tax. I think that way could work.
But
And
then
like
how many of these guys even own the taxis? Let's be honest. Most of these guys are working for the taxi owners, isn't it? So then, if it's, let's say 5 fines, okay, I say, okay, you've got 4 fines, I'm just gonna get another taxi driver to replace you. Then?
Wait. I think that's when now that's where you make that changes somehow. That okay, if you're driving a taxi and you're driving for someone else or the owner, we need the papers, we need something that validates that taxi it's someone's taxi or it's the owner's taxi, so that maybe the fines and everything could go directly to the owner, because that's when the owner is going to feel the pain of the fines, right? And also, I think that way it could work, because if you're finding obviously the driver and as an owner could change the driver at any time, but then if it goes to the owner directly and the owner feels the pain, and I think the owner would really make some and also I think obviously as an owner would talk to your drivers, guys, try to drive nicely on the roads, be safe and whatever, do all those small things to make sure safety belt, everything is proper, it's fine. But then obviously if you don't feel the pain, no pain, no gain, my guys, so obviously.
Okay.
But I think also the government, I feel like at some point they need to start raising the standards of the quantum. Now they operate. The drivers that are driving the quantum. I think those are the fundamental things that you need to do.
Yeah.
There should be a way to maneuver through the system. Like, for example, you see how Uber works, but you are able to rate the Uber driver after the transport, you see. So I think the taxi owners, they need to come together and form a solution around this. That they might have a system, their quantum, that the passengers are able to react, so that the owner, they can understand how the driver is driving his car. So that if the driver is not up to standard, it doesn't stop on the stop sign, it doesn't do what, they can fire him and get someone else. That's the what way it can raise the standard of
job creation as well. Yeah, I think
it gets them to standard, because if people are not rating him proper, then the owner fires him. Then the next one will make sure that he keeps to standard, because he knows he's going to lose his job. Because there's no other way where the owners are going to find out if the guys are really doing a good job. They will not drive the quantum. I think we need to find a system to actually rate the drivers also.
I think for me they should formalize the taxi industry. Like they should make it formalize, build a system. Just make it formal. Unlike being an informal industry, but as well taxes and stuff, those kind of stuff. So I think they're running away from it, all those things.
Yeah, but also SA is putting so many laws, bruh. Speaking of laws, Limpopo placed the law that now you can't even buy alcohol after midnight.
Yeah, after 12.
After 12, bruh. Bruh. But I feel like South Africa is just reacting to everything at once, bruh. Because if you place laws like that, then what's going to happen to artists? What's going to happen to people who have to perform, like comedians and everything after midnight? Because those people, drunk people bring business, let's be honest. How many times?
You know what I mean?
It's not even that. If you stop, look, fine, you stop selling it at midnight, I can just buy more alcohol at 11.
Exactly.
So what does that solve?
I think that will lead to also shady business. People will be buying the alcohol, keeping them in their home, selling them.
Remember what happened during COVID?
So it is never a solution. I think sometimes in JSA they are quick to react more than thinking. I think there is a problem of the structure in the politics. Many of the people they just react. They don't think first.
But what do you guys think about people who say more alcohol means more crime? So if a person like consumes more alcohol over a specific period of time, they are more like likely to commit crimes like GBV, rape, like I don't know, murder. They are more likely to do that. So maybe that's what they're curbing. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What alcohol does, it basically just gives you, people like to call it what, liquid confidence, basically. Let's be honest. It allows you to do certain things you wouldn't do. And if you're saying that, I've seen it before. I've seen people they get drunk, they'll become more violent. I've seen it. I've seen people do some other shady stuff when they're drunk.
Yeah.
Fine, that happens. If you stop selling it, that doesn't solve anything. Let's be honest. All alcohol does is make you do the things you probably would have done if you were so. That you probably, when you were sober, you just thought, okay, maybe not.
You think then it's like a human issue then?
We should
be focusing on the thing that's GBV, and then we come to alcohol abuse.
Yeah, because I've heard this term, right? Teach your sons not to rape and that stuff. Like, okay, let's be honest here. Oh, yeah, their father sat them down and say, son, don't rape. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you teach people proper morals, they'll know how to deal with these things. You know, we all here know. Okay, if she says no, it's fair enough. But sometimes you play around, you try and see if you can't take a win or take your L. I just say teach people proper morals, and that'll come about. The alcohol thing, telling people no, you can't drink alcohol after midnight. It's not gonna solve anything.
Because actually, even at 12, the person is already drunk. So they're telling him you can't drink more after. So drunk people don't think that will cause even more chaos. You see?
Right.
They must start even. There will be a same strike. They'll start striking those people that drink alcohol. They might even kill. They must even destroy those shops. That are selling alcohol. Because
Do you guys think there's a looming looting, like they're about to experience looting again?
Looting?
Yeah.
When someone is drunk, when he's used, that's why I'm getting alcohol. They say, you don't understand me now.
So you think South Africans are going to look? There's a possibility.
Yeah, they might take advantage of the situation.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be COVID times. I don't know about you guys, but as for me, we all knew our dealers. We knew where to get if it was during COVID. It's gonna be the same thing now. You're gonna know who to buy from. Let's be honest. You just buy at a slightly higher price. Plus, okay, this will work in the city, in the village. Maybe I come from a small town. You don't care. You're just gonna keep selling. The police, they're there. They're drinking with you. So it's not gonna solve anything.
That's one thing.
Do you guys think South Africa has an alcohol problem? Amongst you specifically.
Hey, my guy. Those are sort of like topics that we need to, have really like deep insight into them. But then for me, I could say, if we're using the money that we're using on alcohol just on our lives, on just investing on our lives, as a South Africans would be far, very far. Because like if you go to a typical township and you look at how, the young people drink alcohol, man, you're like, shit.
My guy, drink more than your father, man.
I know, my guy. And I think for me, I think it's sort of like, for me, I think it's too much. But also they said, I think South Africa is not even on the top 10 of the countries that drink too much alcohol, consume too much alcohol. It's not even on the top 10, not even on the top 20. So, which means our consuming rate is not that much. But then also, I think for me, we should focus on specific problems. Like now, we need what? Okay, we need people to be employed. Let's focus on that and forget about alcohol a bit. Not like stop consuming it, but also just limiting our consumption when it comes to alcohol. Then you solve the employment problem. We know then when people are working, it's going to increase their purchasing power, and also people will be able to buy more alcohol that they need. Now people are responsible for using their money however they want to use it. But then knowing that a person has a decent job, has a decent home, I think, unlike just the youth spending money on alcohol, at the end of the day, 20 years later, you are nowhere. You're like, there's no, like, you've not improved in your life. You're basically on the same point, same township, same everything. Just the difference is age.
Yo, bruh. Yeah, and when you grow older, if you get more money, you get more privilege, get to live in a suburb nicely, get to not complain about certain things sometimes,
Sure, I think let's solve that problem first, and then young people can drink the way they want to drink, and I don't know, people can drink the way they want to drink, but then I think for now, you can't be complaining about being unemployed and having to drink maybe a week and 1,000 rand. Take that 1,000 and invest in your life and see, maybe not really a job, but then see what can you do. Because I think there are a lot of things that a person can do, and just gaining a skill, towards your life, and then, use that skill to get money, build a house, build whatever, the basic things. Because all of us, if you can check, we just need basic things in life, just as people. We need a house, shelter, proper shelter, working system, water, everything, electricity, it must, everything, just having a car, decent car. That's it.
Okay, There's just something I just want to clarify, because I was like, I know I've heard this before. South Africa is actually number 5 in the world in terms of.
Oh, Steve. What check?
That's but the
okay.
Yeah, but
what's the source?
The UN,
United Nations.
Yeah, the World Health Organization.
World Health Organization.
Yeah, they were checking basically who drinks the most.
Yes.
I think also just to go back to your point, Steve, I feel like the parents, they need to do a better job in terms of dealing with the child. I feel like one of the things that lead to people drinking, some they get so stressed, they have too much free time.
It's like a coping mechanism.
It's a coping mechanism. So I feel like some parents are not doing a proper job in terms of giving the children other coping mechanism.
Yeah.
You see, of dealing with stress, because in life everyone's gonna face stress, and if you don't know how to deal with it, alcohol will be your first solution. And the more you get older, the more you're stressed every day. And the more people you for real. It's a young child is nothing you have to worry about. As you get older, your wife is stressing you, so you feel like drinking every day. Just to be out of your mind. So I feel like the parents should be giving the people there some other coping mechanism, guys. You have to deal with those stress and the pressure that comes with life and daily.
The thing is, coping mechanism requires money.
Not necessarily.
Sometimes it does, bro. It does, bro. Because if your kid wants to be a football player and you know nothing about football, what can you teach that kid?
We've also got to be realistic when we teach some of our kids some of these things. I get this idea of do what you want. Okay, everyone wants to be a billionaire. You're not going to be. The chances of you being a billionaire among 7 billion people, come on, let's be realistic. I'm not saying don't strive for it, but try and teach your child, okay, first try and do what's needed. See what's needed in society. If what's needed is also what you want, bonus, it's fine. When you try and create a successful business, you have to look at what's needed. Okay, what do people need? Okay, they need food. I'm going to start selling food. And that's how you make money. That's how you become a good business person also. You see a gap in the market, what's needed, and then that's what you go for.
Capitalize on it. Yeah, I think this thing of parents, I think for me, the government, because now we are dealing with, remember we are dealing with, you can say 80s, 90s, 80s, not 90s. Yeah, 90s. people who have now children, you know, like children who have children, if I can say so, you know,
Sure.
and it comes from this thing of not having a proper background of like when you're growing up, you know, you were not lectured in a way that it was gonna be fruitful for you. So our parents, remember, they were facing the problems of apartheid and whatever. So they were not thinking about you know, guiding their children. They're not thinking about giving them principles that will, you know, help them to succeed in life. You know, and you know, like basic principles, how to be a human being and how to take care of yourself, how to maneuver around the society, how to live with people. You know, those things were going to be solved if our parents were not facing the problems of apartheid. Because now, just imagine you're growing up, you are just 20, 50, you know, 20. You're 30, and then having to deal with apartheid. Obviously, the only thing that you think about is being free, rather than teaching your children whatever principles and, you know, things that they need to know in life. So my point is actually the government, I think, needs to have people that are going to go into the society, deep into the society, you know, and teach parents and teach basic people about basic principles that they need to know in order to teach their children. You know, that's where we start. But charity starts at home, you know. So, you know, if we solve that particular problem, then we have solved, I think, about 90% of our problems, because it's not about really alcohol being the main thing, just the alcohol magnifies it, but the problem is really inside. So if I am in my 20s, I've never been told about just basic principles, how to live with people, not rape. I had to take a decision about that, like myself, not just being a rapist and not consuming a lot of alcohol at all, not drinking or smoking. Those are just basic things that I took decisions, you know, just analyzing the environment is that I don't want to be like that, you know. But then, obviously, other people we are different as people, you know. So other people need to be lectured, other people needs to be guided and whatever. And the government needs to issue people into the, you know, go into the society and teach, you know. I think, obviously, it's going to cost a lot, but then it's going to solve 90% of our problems.
I don't think relying on government is the solution to this issue. I mean, government...
Look, government does a lot, but they have a lot of influence, but they are very ineffective.
Yeah. Government doesn't even exist. Government is just a collection of people, let's be honest.
Sure,
but I hear
what he's saying. Because government has that influence, you get me? I mean, most people, if you think about it, cannot afford the things that happen in the private sector. In SA, our middle class is not that way. So a lot of people have to rely on government for a lot of things.
No, I understand that, but
you know what I mean?
To rely on government to be that moral arbiter it's shaky at best, because government doesn't operate from truth so much as it operates from what's the most popular idea and let's implement it. Basically, that's why apartheid sort of managed to.
My point where it's coming from, Steve, you don't know what you don't know. You can't teach what you don't know. Yeah. So we have people in our society that just do not know, you know. So I've got a teenager is growing up. I have to tell them things that I do not know myself. You know what I mean? So for me, it comes from a point to say, let the government first, you know, issue people go and teach these things, maybe to our 90s, 80s, you know, to our parents, to our grandfathers and grandmothers. And then after that is done, then it's going to be just a multiple effect.
But then you also have to think, I can talk to people as much as I want, but if you're not willing to listen, you're not willing to listen, basically.
Then show them what.
You can go there and show them that people are already not the biggest fan of government. So you're sending this person to say, do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be fine. They'll be like, you guys are still not doing the stuff you're supposed to do. Why should I believe you now, essentially?
Hey, Steve, we're trying to solve it.
I think, guys, before we move on to another point, just some few tips I would say. This thing it's a very big problem, you see, trying to control kids, trying to do what, trying to educate yourself. Yeah, just a quick advice, you see. I would advise parents to just introduce their kids to church, guys. That's the best tip. That's where they will learn most of the principles. You can see a child that didn't go to Sunday school. The child that went to Sunday school is different from a child that didn't go to Sunday school. So at a little age, introduce them to church. Church will teach them the principles if you are failing to do so. So
yeah. And if you don't have the time, but don't neglect your child. I'm not saying to neglect your child. and we're not parents, so you know what I mean.
No,
But we grow up.
Yeah,
What is simple as is that, guys, they introduced us to church at a young age, so
Exactly.
we managed to maneuver through life because of that.
Yeah, I think for me, parents just. There are some parents that just do not know, man. You know, when you see them, you're like, oh, you know.
Not every parent should have a child, but every child should have a good parent, basically. If you're a parent and you know you're weak.
This one is gonna go around, guys. This one it needs 4 hours.
Just to, you know, to summarize.
Conclude.
To conclude. You know, like in the olden days, a parent, when I'm saying like I've got parents or I've got like a mother and a father, it used not to be my mother and my father, them only. It used to be the community, the society itself, you know. So when someone, my neighbor or my friend's mom or, you know, like, you know, my grandmother's friend sees me doing something is wrong, that parent would come to me and try to guide me, to teach me, you know, to give me life principles. It was not really what my mother's, my mother's responsibility only, or my family's responsibility. It used to come from a society. I think that's where, as South Africans, you just need to go back to our values, our values, our principles that we used to have in the olden days, you know.
Okay, I think that's right. What he's saying, basically, right now we consider old people elderly. They call people the elderly. I saw this one thing. Instead of considering them the elderly, we should consider them elders, you know, because it comes with more respect.
True.
You know, how old people are respected among society. That's how it should be. Among black people, it's like that, man.
No, they're wise. You must always respect them because they've gone through way more life experiences than you have. They've got the most experience than any of us. So we should take their advice as good. That's why I like the idea of a church, because there's elders within that church.
Exactly.
Even as a parent, when you were talking about the community, that's sort of what it was, right? The community was within the church as well. Everyone was sort of there. Even I don't know about you guys, small town, my auntie sees me doing something bad, grab me, it's fine. My parents are gonna be like, yeah, why were you doing that nonsense anyway?
Sure.
Everyone's the parent. You should have that core parents at home.
Yeah.
But you should have that community as well. And if you're a parent, okay, go. If you're a parent and you're not sure about what to do, you ask your elders. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, don't leave your children to learn stuff, 1, on the streets, 2, at school. If you're a teacher, you have 50 kids. The flip am I gonna do focusing on your only child? Let's be honest. All right.
I think it brings me to my next question. Like, just to, I guess, encapsulate this whole point. All guys here, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine one day, when we're kids, we imagine we'll get married, have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. So I want to ask, guys, when you want a woman, obviously you see long term with her, right? Do you go for beauty or do you go for brains? Like, I was just thinking about which one is I understand you're gonna say beauty, but I need you to think which one is the contributing factor. Like, when you look at a woman, what's the first thing you're like, yo man, I remember that about her. I think I'll start now. When I look at a woman, beauty, is the standard, but also, bro, intellectually, she must not be thinking about Louise all the time, bro. That's how women are. Maybe it might be me, but to me, all women seem like they're the same. Like, it's just like taking the standards from rappers, radio hosts, guests, TV personalities, it girls. These women want 400K, man. Bruh, my guy, which normal guy is getting you 400K a month? My guy, which guy? Which 30-year-old guy in South Africa is gonna have disposable income after tax?
Wanu
400K!
Wanu's advertising himself.
This is not yes.
There should be a balance.
There should be a balance.
She needs the brain, also the food should be there. Remember, we are not taking the brains to date. So
that's power.
So you should still be comfortable to work with your woman there at the mall and be free. But then at the end of the day, she needs to have the brains, because when you get to the date, you're gonna cover bills. She needs to be someone who thinks it's okay, guys. Don't need to overspend on that. But at the end of the day, there should be try to find a balance. But also, one thing I realized: women are teachable.
Women are teachable.
You can teach them. Yeah. As a guy, you can try and change them if she loves you, but that's the first thing. She needs to first love you. Then you can change it to what you want it to be. don't get there and also raise a standard that you can't meet. If you see you can't give it that 1K, that 100K per month, don't just start.
wait. This, like, the problem of giving, ladies money, where did it come from? Let's start from there.
Problem.
That problem, it's a problem. How? It's a problem.
Yeah,
it came from us. It came from us because we wanted to bet, not like from us, but as James, like it came from us that we wanted to bet them or to give them a bribery so that we can get something from them. So they got used to it because of what of us. So we taught them that, So when he says ladies are teachable, so if we guys, we can raise our standard and stand and say, beauty with brains, and because there's an English saying that says, beauty without brains is useless. That's what they say. So if we guys can take a stand and say, I'm gonna date a lady that that really correlates with my values and just who I am in life, because the problem came first when as guys we want to eat everything now. So you see this girl she's not in your way, she's not in your lane, but in order for you to have her, what do? You bet.
Okay. No, I think the problem with dating, I think it's a good thing that a man should provide, but a man should provide and never complain, but in a family setting. But this thing of girlfriends betting, I think it started with these old guys trying to steal our girlfriend. and the only way they could have attracted them is through money, because there's nothing else to offer which you couldn't offer to them.
Sure.
So it was money, and money even.
And now guys our age think that that's the only thing they have to offer.
Sure.
Actually, like Michelle, everything nicely about.
I think if it's just us gents, we just separate ourselves from those girls, they wouldn't realize the booty. No, we need to come back to life, because if you see someone that already has a place, just don't go to her, just don't try approach it, just leave it like that. When even after she's broken up with the place, because what happened will just come to you after you've broken up with their place, and then come to you.
When they're proper,
just leave them so that you can get in there.
proper fun. Like we should really like stop as gents, have a standpoint, and like not giving girls money. Like you give your girl money, the girl that you see a future with. You know what?
Yeah.
Like obviously you need to sort of like
When
not have a girlfriend allowance, but then just help, be there as a man. Go to dates, whatever. Be there as a man.
Yeah.
But then what I'm against is that I've got a girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got a girlfriend. Okay, she satisfies me, whatever. But then also, I see someone who's beautiful, and I know that person knows that I've got a girlfriend. But in order for me to have them in my bed, what do? I bet that's where the problem started.
It's kind of like a bribe now.
It's kind of like a bribe, and then it became sort of like now it got used to the society, and then it was just embedded, I don't know, into their minds, into their hearts, that a guy has to give you something, like the first thing, money, I will, come on, no.
but I think it has to be some sort of a balance, because the kids have to also look nice, and then for future, to build with someone.
We're not against,
You know what I mean?